This is the best of the Frank Skinner Show. All the choicest cuts for your delectation. Weekend mornings on Absolute Radio with Trebor Soft Mints. Working towards a mintier world.
Absolute Radio.
We have to begin, I think, with will Wayne Bridge shake hands with John Terry?
I haven't been able to sleep tonight thinking about that.
You'll be able to sleep tonight because it will have already happened.
The Sun have mocked up a picture of how it might look if they shake hands.
Yes, because we'd like to know.
Which was helpful, because we couldn't possibly envisage that in any other way.
The trouble is with footballers, they're so unimaginative. Clearly, what Wayne Bridge should do is get one of those hand buzzers from a joke shop, which would be like the best way to defuse the whole situation. Just, he's going to shake, and just see John Terry wince and be a bit humiliated.
Or a giant gladiator's foam hand. That's what I do.
I think he might pick up on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do the false hand.
Yeah.
You could do the, the last-minute thumbing of the nose. That'd bring the house down. But instead, he'll just look a bit sullen. I suspect he'll look a bit sullen, and John Terry will just walk past, and the crowd will go, ooh.
Oh.
I hope the crowd really build it up, so when it comes to their hands, they're going, whoa! Yeah, exactly. I'm quite excited about it. I want to know what happens.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll be watching, don't you worry.
Well, I'll be probably listening to it on the radio. That'll be a really good way of experiencing the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why they have... on the radio, why do they bother going to the games? Why don't they just sit and just tell you what's happening? And then you'd just believe them anyway. I'd put in bogus goals. I'd put at least 2 goals a game that didn't happen. I was a radio commentator. 1 sending off. And... maybe a small fire, maybe in the press room. I'd add just as a bit of background. Sorry if I'm joking. I've just been a bit of a fire in the press room. Who'd know? Easy. So you had a bit of a fancy night out, didn't you, madam? This week? Hey, madam. Hey, you had a fancy night out, didn't you? Hey, didn't you?
I might have gone to the Baftas. Did you two go?
I watched it on the telly.
Oh,
Yeah,
extraordinary.
I did.
Extraordinary.
Anyway, I went to the Baftas. Oh, my God, it was amazing, guys. It was so good. I did the radio. I thought Ben Jones was going from Absolute Radio.
Ben
He told
Jones
me
from
he
Absolute
was.
Radio follows us at 10 o'clock this morning. There you go, I've clogged the man.
He told me he was going, but I didn't see him.
You didn't see him?
No, I think we might have been in separate areas. That's a good way of putting it, isn't it?
Were you separated by a velvet rope?
Well, I was on table 1, that's all I'm saying.
Yes.
I don't know which one he was on.
I think he was on car park 4. But Ben is we meet Ben when we close the show. Ben he's coming in, and he's a lovely chap.
Oh, I love Ben.
I mean, he wears a baseball cap, but everyone has a flaw. Othello was jealous. King Lear still wanted to maintain some sort of power, having given up the responsibility of power. Macbeth was very ambitious. Ben wears a baseball cap, and it's a bit Pride of Britain, that, for me. But anyway,
I don't know if he wore it at the Baftas. Anyway.
I bet he did.
Oh.
I've never seen him without it.
Oh, okay.
I'm starting to, there's no top on his head. That's my theory. He's like an egg cup.
He was a judge, though. He told me he was a judge.
Well, now, I'd like to get to the bottom of this, because there's an orange, right? They sponsored the new... Was it called the New Face? Or
yeah,
like
Orange
that?
New Face or something.
Orange New Face. There's Cat Dealey in that. And anyway, so Ben told us last week, he said, I'm there because I was one of the judges for that. And I was quite impressed by that. So I watched the Baftas and public vote. Now, OK, he might have voted in the public vote, which makes him a judge of some kind, but that means that I was a judge in the last general election.
Well, you were.
Oh, well, yeah, but I wouldn't tell people that then. That's like saying I was a judge on Let's Dance for Sport. Oh, no, I was a judge on that. But, yeah, he was telling us he was the... I imagine him, sitting in some room somewhere at the BAFTA place at Piccadilly, maybe in robes of some kind, with a gavel.
Instead, he was ringing in on 0891.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's built the whole thing.
Oh, he's built his part up.
So that would explain it. Well, told me he was a judge on Britain's Got Talent as well. I thought I hadn't spotted it. He said he was a judge 3 weeks on the row. 40 pence minimum, I think it said it cost him. Yeah, and I think he said he had to tell the person who paid the bill before he was a judge.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We're just talking about the Baftas, which Emily actually went to. Me and Gareth just watched it on telly. Did you watch it on telly?
I did watch it on telly, yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you what surprised me, just from watching it on telly, obviously not the
Yeah.
same as being there.
No, let's hear about what it felt like on telly.
Well,
It's much more interesting.
What you're doing, you're getting a lot of professional actors going up on stage. I mean, people at the very top of the acting profession.
Yeah.
Stars, acting stars, you're getting up there. And then this is the ones who present the awards.
Yeah.
Big names. And they come up and say, the art of the director is a mysterious... And I think, what is it's like a child read. You know when you give a child a bit of cardboard and they're going, Janet and John went over a hill. You know, like a 5-year-old child.
Well, I've got the inside
Do they
info
still
on
read
that.
Janet and John? Am I setting myself to be a little out of date?
It's not 1953. They don't. But
Also, they don't read age 5 now. I think it's about 15 they get to that stage.
the auto cue was too small. They couldn't read it. That's why they were reading it
No, they
badly.
can't. They can't act. These people. Put them in front of an audience. They're all very well on a film set where they can do it 20 times. But put them in front of an audience. They're just snivelling posh people going, the art of the... Just get off the stage.
Jealous much? Now,
I'm not. Am I jealous of Vanessa Redgrave? Am I jealous of someone who seemed to cut their speech into lines and put it into a bag and then draw them out one at a time and just say random things? Am I jealous of that?
That was mental. Yeah. My father once took me to get an ice cream. I like strawberries. I had the
Yes, and I
Malteser
watched
once.
the television the other day. Winston Churchill was in charge of this country during the Second World War. Reading 3, West Bromwich Albion 2. New York, that's a beautiful city. I mean, what, are you all right, Vanessa?
Then
No,
she-
I'm not all right.
then she said, as Rosalind says in As You Like It, thank you, BAFTA. I don't remember her saying that in As You Like It.
That was probably two bits of paper stuck together. I mean, she knelt in front of the Prince William. The Prince William, is that what you call him? I'm calling him the Prince William, why not?
Is it a pub now?
Yeah, I've knelt in front of a few pubs in my time. But, you know, I didn't like it when she knelt in front of him. I thought she was going to take the thank you a stage too far. That's what I thought. I thought she might end up with an hair in her mouth. But,
Anyway,
no,
my
she was-
dress.
Oh, sorry, your dress, yes, of
Oh,
course.
it was amazing.
What make was he?
Well, it was a designer called Alessandra Rich. It's too expensive for me because I've got champagne taste but beer money. I won't lie, that's the truth.
Okay.
So, I have friends in high places, so it was lent to me. I
Right.
couldn't have afforded it. It cost about £5,000. It was amazing.
You wore a £5,000 dress?
I might have.
Oh, I hope you put a napkin over yourself when you had the chicken. They always have chicken at that. I've never been to one of those things when there isn't chicken.
Or ribs.
Oh no, beef medallions we had.
Beef medallions?
Yeah.
You couldn't wear one of them with a dress like that.
Very greasy.
I would love to have gone up. If I'd won a BAFTA, I'd go up wearing a beef medallion. Why not? I'm surprised Vanessa didn't. Let's face it.
Well,
Anything else could have
exactly.
happened. I'm surprised she didn't wear the whole dinner.
So I worked the red carpet, waved to the people behind the crash barriers like a journalist I know. I went, hi, what are you doing here?
What you meant was, what are you doing there? The other side of the rope. I'm glad you had a fabulous night.
I did. But I did have an incident, Frank.
Oh, well, look, we've got to play some adverts.
Okay.
I think we can hold ourselves on these. I really want to know now what
Okay.
it was.
Here's another highlight of the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio.
What's that thing you was on about food?
Oh, okay. Now, I'm quite obsessed by this because there was a piece in the paper about people mispronouncing food words, you know, when they order stuff in restaurants.
Right.
So instead of bruschetta, they'll say bruschetta or something.
Right, okay.
And they had a
Not a
li-
cardinal sin in my book.
Oh, it's quite bad for me.
Okay.
No, I was on a date with this guy, and you know that pasta that's sort
Well, I
of
can
like...
believe that.
Oh, you know that pasta that's kind of... It's called penne. You know the
Yeah.
sort of pasta... I have to explain to you.
Penne.
It's called penne.
I know the one. It's like a tube.
Exactly, it's a tube. So the guy I was with, I made my order, and the guy I was with said to the waiter, yeah, can I have the pen, please? And I swear, I thought he was going to get a pen out of his pocket.
Oh,
it was
no.
awful.
Oh, no, so bad.
I thought, I can't go out with someone like that.
So you dumped him on the strength of one tiny
I
mispronunciation.
waited a week, and then I dumped him.
Sometimes people can be too good, though. I was in a cafe with a bloke, and he called the waiter up. It's an Italian place,
Yeah.
admittedly, and he said, "Can we have a due cappuccini?" Well, I mean,
I
shut
don't
your
like
face. I didn't want it after that. I could have threw it at him right into his...
I don't like it when people get words wrong, though.
No. My mum does a lot of these. My mum says halloumi cheese. She calls it halimi.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
Well,
No, why don't you just leave her alone? I mean, she's 98.
Not as bad as that bloke who
She
said to me...
speaks through a machine. I mean, give her a chance. Could be a fault in that. Have a look at that. Look at that keyboard.
she doesn't talk to a machine. That's
Doesn't
just her
she?
voice.
Oh, okay, sorry. I don't know where I got that from. I just imagine she might talk through a machine. Doesn't make her a bad person. If she did, if there's anyone listening who talks to a machine, respect to you.
She uses
That's
a
right.
telephone sometimes.
Well, there you go then.
So
Don't call me a liar and then back me up in the same breath. Well, maybe not the same breath, but well, you know what I mean. My dad used to talk about the writer Somerset Maugham instead of Somerset Maugham. And he also used to say etiquette instead of etiquette. Yeah, you could do with learning a bit of etiquette, he used to say to me. We used to laugh. We used to sit at home, sawdust on the floor, 2 or 3 bull terriers slumbering at the fireside.
And the Whippet Shep.
Yeah, the whippet was called Cal.
Oh, that was Cal,
Shep was
sorry.
a Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
Oh,
I don't want to
excuse
go
me.
through my entire dog list on here. I ate a dog list on morning radio.
Oh, especially if an Alsatian's involved. My worst dog. So on chic. Awful.
Yeah.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
The dog days are over now.
That was Dog Days Are Over, yeah, by Florence and the Machine. And,
Now, Frank, while I was at the Baftas this week, Gareth
Oh.
was doing something even more showbiz.
Yes. I'm married, but you can still do exciting things if you're married.
Well, I know that. Look at
Ashley Cole.
Angie Bowie. And Ashley Cole, he did very exciting. Were they exciting or were they drab in the extreme?
We went to Winchester this week, Laura and I.
Brilliant.
And we went to a little cafe that had lovely cakes in the window, and it was the Maison Blanc. And it was ran by Raymond Blanc.
Oh my God, I only met Mickey Rourke this week. Tell me about the chef.
Well, anyway...
I tell you what I like about Mickey Rourke. There's still a handsome man in there.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's like he's had an enormous candle on the top of his head and a lot of wax has run over his features. So you can see the nice man inside, but there's all globules and lumps all over him. Anyway, get back to Raymond Blanc.
And that would have been exciting enough, just going to the cafe.
Hell
where,
yeah.
where he was.
Wow.
once. But he was there.
Brilliant.
He was there, and
I wouldn't know him if he came in here now.
No, I wouldn't have.
How did you know him?
I wouldn't have known that I knew him, but when I saw him, I did know who.
I saw a nice.
Someone.
I saw a nice pencil sketch of him, so I probably would have recognised him. Somebody obviously drew a Blanc.
Oh.
I'm terribly sorry, everyone. If you're listening to that, it was just a little bit of fun.
Anyway, he was there telling off the lady about the toilet in there, the waitress.
Oh, he's dropped.
And,
This is such a glamorous anecdote. I can't believe it.
Just let me tell the story!
Go on.
Anyway, what do you think about this, right? There were some ladies, and he was being very charming, going, "Oh, you enjoy the food? Did you like it? Oh, you have a little one. Did you not have some ice cream or souffle?" I go, "No, he's not ready for that yet." Anyway, he went to talk to some old ladies, and he had had a chocolate eclair that I had, which was very nice, but he'd only eaten half of it. And he was chatting to the old ladies, and they were saying something, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, I have only eaten half of this chocolate eclair. You can have the other half."
He said to you.
No, to the old ladies, and he gave the old ladies the other half of his
no.
chocolate eclair.
Oh, and did they eat it?
Yeah.
I suppose if you're very old, what you got to lose? It's sort of like it's a sort of chocolate eclair Russian roulette they were playing.
Or maybe they'd had enough. And he's like, "I know what will kill you. I've got half a chocolate eclair over there."
What a very benevolent, big-hearted man Raymond Blanc is. I might go around his shop hoping for on the off chance for half a cake with his terrible spit and teeth marks on it. I look forward to that. Anyway, Ben Miller is our guest today. He's on After the
Oh,
News.
I love him.
Oh, he's great, Ben Miller.
You're listening to the best of the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Absolute Radio.
Ben Miller has joined us.
Good morning.
Now, the last time... This is how show business works, isn't it, Ben? Last
Yeah.
time you was on, you said to me after I'm making a film, do you want to be in it? And I said, yeah. And it all happened.
Yeah. What are the chances it actually happened?
Yeah, I went along, we filmed it, and it's coming out this year.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was about stand-up comedy, and there was that scene where I think you're chatting to Kevin Bishop in there. You're very prominently featured.
Am I? Oh, I'm very
yeah.
Oh, no, he's going to be
That's why I brought this up. In case if I'd ended up on the cutting room floor, I haven't done that since I stopped drinking. So the film it's called Huge.
It's called Huge.
That's a tempting fate, that is.
It is, yeah. It's a bit
Why didn't you call it massively successful? 5 stars, The Guardian.
Yeah, enormous potential. yeah. It's about these two guys who want to get into stand-up comedy, and it's about that whole world, that cold, how seamy underworld that you.
Yeah, what
managed to you inhabit
to fight your way up through to this airy blue light, wonderful showbiz nirvana we find ourselves in.
Indeed.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the kind of it's the really hard. It's the cold face of comedy. I think it's the kind of really hard. It's something I tried to do myself. I tried to do stand up myself, and I just found it impossibly difficult. And it's kind of about how impossible it is to get started, really.
But and when I went there to do this, because I wouldn't even call mine a cameo. I'm an extra. Is what I am. I'd
Hardly.
say I'm Atmos.
Hardly.
But when I got there, Ben, honestly, he's got the full director thing. He's
Oh,
got the
has
headphones
he?
around the neck, and he's saying, "Oh, Dave, give me that." And he's looking through the little. He's holding his hands in the form
he's
of a
not.
rectangle and saying, "Yeah." I mean, really proper directing.
Is he wearing, Frank, is he wearing a North Face puffer jacket?
No, he's wearing just one of those peaks on an elastic.
It is horrific.
Or was it a chihuahua? It was one of the two.
It is horrific what you turn into when you're directing a film.
Yeah, you were very bossy on
It
the
was
day.
very, very bossy. And one day I actually turned up and I felt quite uncomfortable in my shorts, and I made the cameraman take his trousers off and give them to him.
Frankie Howard used to do that, apparently. Did you really?
I really did. No, I absolutely... You just sort of think you can do anything. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, power. It's just corrupting. It is corrupting.
So that'll be out later this year. I'm very much looking forward. But you're not in it. Do you do a cameo?
Not in it. No, I mean, I've got I say one word in it. But
is it cot? And that shouldn't have been left in, but there's a bit of a mix-up at the end. I hate it when that happens.
I got one word in it. But Simon, who plays a character in it, Simon, who's co-wrote it, Simon Godley.
Simon Godley was my dentist.
He's your dentist.
Yeah, my dentist co-wrote it.
Yeah. Everyone that works with Frank has got some kind of talent.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, even Gareth. I mean, Gareth, you auditioned or something.
I thought you were going to be in
I
it.
sent Gareth the script, and Gareth gave me loads of notes on the script, which really helped. Actually,
What a
made loads
cheat.
of changes.
How dare he?
I wasn't in it.
You weren't in it. How come you sent him
Well,
the
you
script
said-
then?
Because we got
We met
chatting,
here,
and he was
didn't we? Yeah.
interested, and he'd
You
done
know,
stand
got
up.
to tell you.
You know,
Got to tell you, Ben Gareth did think he was going to be in it.
well, you could have been in it. Why didn't you come and be in it?
at the thing, because the last email you said, "Oh, thanks for the notes," and yeah, you should be. Would you like a part in it? And
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I don't know if I'd be convincing as a comedian, as a joke, but I think you thought I meant it." Did you?
Well, you see,
he
there
can't
you
act.
Oh no! So ever since you've been thinking,
Well,
you
I don't have a grudge.
Could have bloody asked me. Yeah.
You see, that's what careers hang on. That's the danger of sarcasm.
That could have been it, couldn't it? That could have been.
Especially in a text or email
Made all the difference
sarcasm.
in this
No. Apparently Hitler didn't mean invade Poland. He went, "Oh, let's invade Poland, why don't we?"
This is Frank Skinner
Absolute.
Radio.
I'm Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, and I'm with Emily and Gareth. I'm having slight nominal aphasia. Do you know nominal aphasia when you forget the names of things? I just forgot me, the radio station, and both of you. That's not a great
Full
start.
house.
Yeah, exactly. A full house in the world of nominal aphasia. Hey, if you're playing nominal aphasia bingo at home, too late, you lose. It's been one of those weeks when it's been two major events. It's been Halloween and Bonfire Night in the same week. I don't personally celebrate Bonfire Night because I'm a Roman Catholic, and it is actually a celebration of torturing Roman Catholics, burning them, hong drawing and quartering, cutting their fingers off individually.
Oh, this is a nice start to the morning.
Well, I just think it's about time it was laid down clear to the British public what they're celebrating on Bonfire Night, right? Because it's all about... I know, it's not about really... It's not a reenactment of Guy Fawkes getting caught with the gunpowder. It's about him being tortured afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, I don't celebrate it, but only because it's very unglamorous. I don't want to
Well, that's another good reason.
Yeah, but Frank, I may as well just stand there watching my boiler. To me, that's the same principle, essentially, just watching something burn for 3 hours. Why would I do that?
Do you never watch your boiler? No. I imagine your boiler wears an Armani jacket. A quilted Armani jacket. Well, I don't know. I had a bit of a problem with it. I went out on. I went to David Baddiel's house, actually.
What, for Bonfire night?
Yeah. And being David Baddiel, we didn't have any fireworks. We just sat with the children at the window and watched other people's fireworks. It's absolutely true. I'm not suggesting for a second that David is careful with money, but no. So I just sat there with the kids watching other people's. At Christmas, we went round and looked at other people's gifts through the window of neighbours' houses. And that seemed to be all right. Oh, the number 17 got a lovely tree up.
Weekend mornings on Absolute Radio. Here's another highlight of the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio with Trebor Soft Mints, working towards a mintier world.
Absolute Radio.
David Baddiel has arrived in the studio.
Hello, Frank. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank
You know, when I arrived, they said to me, "You'll be on after the fall." I said, "Does he always get the guest on after the fall?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Is there any kind of listener drop-off normally at that point?" But, yeah, no, great. I couldn't put the headphones on. I don't know if you noticed. I put them on, I had to take them off again.
Dave once got in my car and said, "What's that horrible noise? Is it the fall?"
yeah, I think it was the car backfiring. In fact, it turned out to be the whole...
You've had to listen to it quite a lot over the years, then.
Well, actually, not that much, because Frank got into the fall, not when we first met, quite like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, less than that, even.
Yeah.
I'm a late developer on the fall.
You came out, in fact, to me. I think we were in Portugal at the time.
We were walking on a moonlit beach.
Yeah. It was very like
How
someone,
romantic.
It was very like someone actually coming out, except it was about liking Marky Smith, which is rare, I think, when people come out in the normal way. But that comes up.
Exactly. They rarely combine.
Yeah.
I'm gay and I like Marky Smith.
Yeah.
No, but I remember you said to me, if I was you, I wouldn't tell anyone.
Bad
Did you
advice
actually
again.
say that?
I did say bad advice again for most people coming out. It's got 1950s advice for people coming out.
So the agony aunt on This Morning would advise you to do that.
Exactly. Well, hey, I'm sure the Fall are great. I can't hear it myself. What's great about them? And so I advised against Frank.
Oh, they're
making it public.
growing on me. Spoiled Victorian child. Nothing wrong with that.
Growing on you. You've been on this show how long? God.
Over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, once a week over a year.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like being married. Yeah, I remember you said, the thing is, they're the sort of band that if people are trying to be cool,
Yes.
they say they like the Fall, so you
Yeah.
best keep your mouth shut.
Well, that is a very unlikely thing for you to try and do, to try and be cool. You're not a man, I think, who ever tries to second-guess the hip agenda.
No,
Possibly the broken hip agenda.
Yes, exactly.
And so I thought, oh, well, I'm obviously wrong. I'm wrong about so many things. And I was wrong because I thought, well, you know, if Frank likes it, then he must genuinely like it. Because I've never known you to like something except utterly genuinely. But I still can't see it. Sounds like a terrible racket. I'm sorry.
Well, we're all different.
I love that. Such an old granddad thing. Terrible racket.
Yeah.
So anyway, Dave, you've written a film.
I have. I've written and co-produced, I believe is the word, a film called The Infidel, which comes out this Friday in cinemas.
I've been invited to the premiere on Thursday.
So is Frank Skinner, I think.
Oh,
I don't know if he's RSVP.
I have RSVP.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was a bit sniffy about that because I thought, surely I don't have to RSVP. I mean, I've known this man for years.
I know. It was ridiculous. You actually said to me, someone will sort that out.
Yeah.
But no, you just...
I actually had to reply and everything. Well,
Yeah.
obviously my PA did, but even so.
I know, you were
very
upset about that.
inconvenient. I had to phone her and tell her to do it. You know, I had other things to do.
No, fair enough. But thank you all for coming. I'm sorry the other people, Gavin, you haven't been invited.
no,
have you?
Gareth.
You not Gavin?
Maybe you
What I
sent
like
my
is
invitation
in the
to
midst of
Gavin.
in the midst of an apology for not inviting him, you also got his name
I'm
wrong.
so sorry, Gavin.
David, that's a very you thing to do, which is why I love it so
It
much.
is, yeah. I'm a nice chap, but I forget people's names. Yeah, Gareth. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry you haven't been apologised. I'm sorry I got your name wrong. What else can I apologise for? I don't know.
I'm not
You look a
saying-
bit like me. I don't know. Is there a sort of
Yeah, in
visual
your dreams.
podcast?
I think,
My
yeah,
dreams?
exactly. I think he does. That's how you see yourself as a young, trendy man.
Where is the young trendy man you speak of? Where is that person?
When you said you look a bit like me, I thought
Not in the mirror.
Bluto, the villain from Popeye, had come in, and you were talking to him.
I think we've got a slightly odd idea of how attractive Gareth... No, I don't want to insult you again. But how attractive Gareth
You just
is.
have.
Well, at least he got the name right this time, in the midst
Yeah.
of this insult.
When he was telling him he wasn't attractive, he got the name right.
Yeah, no. Anyway, Gareth, I'm sorry everyone else in this room who hasn't been invited. But come anyway, I'll go and watch it in the cinemas, that'd be better for me.
What about the listeners? Have you invited any of them?
Some of them, I don't know.
Depends who's listening. Right?
It's at Hammersmith Apollo, which...
Well, they're all
most
going to
people-
turn up now, don't tell them.
Well, there'll be loads. I imagine there'll be
seats.
loads of empty seats, won't there?
No, there won't.
Harsh and cruel, but in fact we've sold out the public ticket thing, because you could buy tickets for it because it's for charity, and that's now sold out, so it's just the guests who are theoretically celebrities. But, you know, that extends quite far these days, that word.
Well, when you consider I've been invited.
Well, there you go.
Do you remember, Dave, when we went to see... was Ed Wood, that Johnny Depp film? And there was an
I
area.
was there.
There was an area.
Really?
Yeah, well, they kept an area that they said we arrived and a bloke said, "Oh, you can't sit there. That area's reserved for celebrities." And we thought, "Oh,
Yeah, that's a
what
shame.
do we say? Do
Yeah.
you say?"
Well, I am one. That's such an
I
awful
think
thing.
you
to
did say that.
Yes, I think I did.
Did you?
I think because I'm
David.
about wandering around in Leicester Square for 2 hours. Someone has to, bite that
Dave
bullet.
carries clippings for these situations.
Just in case.
Just in case. Do you know who I am? Well, look, here's my show reel. But anyway, I wish we had, because you remember there was one other celebrity.
Yes,
Who was it?
It was Wolf from Gladiator. I remember it very clearly. And he was straight in there, by the way. There was no just for celebrities, so with Wolf.
No, and he was with a fabulous babe in a gold miniskirt. Me and Dave sat there like two extras from Last of the Summer Wine.
And the other thing was, no other celebrities turned up in that row.
No.
It was the four of us for that entire film.
I don't think any other celebrities turned up at all.
Yeah. It
No
was-
other gladiators.
no other gladiators.
No, not even. Not even my one of my best friends off of Gladiators, that dear Hunter.
Oh, God!
As Elvis Presley once said, it's been a long time.
Frank on
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Gareth had a go at me while that song was playing.
I did not have a
He
go
did.
at you.
I didn't hear him because my headphones were on. Frank, can I just say my bit and then he can say his? No, just quickly. And so he went, "Oh, I'm doing a Gareth." So he insulted himself whilst insulting me. It all backfired.
At least he got the name right. Look on the bright side. Oh God! Speaking of things going a bit, did you do any April Fools?
No, because I've got a mortgage.
Oh, does that stop you? Well, that's why I did one, because I don't have a mortgage. Obviously. What is a mortgage?
Oh, Frank, that's going to alienate you from
Yeah.
the people.
Oh God.
Go on, what was the April Fool's
I
that you
mean-
did?
Yeah. So the April. I think the secret I learnt this is that don't mix April Fools pranks with PMT.
Oh, dear.
It's a very, very dangerous cocktail, right? And what happened was, when I got up on whatever morning it was it Thursday morning, April Fool's Day?
Yeah.
But anyway, I got up. I told my girlfriend that I'd been offered a series on Channel 4 with Gok Kwan,
That is quite a good April Fool.
in which I suppose a lot of you listening tried the same thing on your girlfriends. And I said it was called Would You Wear That?
Did you really say this?
Honestly, yeah, and I said it was a programme in which I went out into the streets of Britain with Gok Kwan and I wore a series of elaborate avant-garde outfits. And I said I'd been offered 40 episodes. 40? I thought that'll swing it, surely. Well, when I told her at first I'd been offered an episode with Gok Kwan, she said, "Oh, he's quite, he's quite in at the moment, Gok Kwan." I thought, "Oh God, this isn't going at all." Well, then she went into the other room, and of course, with the PMT, she then came out saying, "God, I can't believe that! It's going to be so humiliating." He completely flipped. And she got so angry and aggressive about the fact that I was... Because I was saying, I think it's a really good... I'm going to say yes, I better tell you. And my manager's all for it.
I love the idea of you in like some Harlequin's outfit.
Exactly, yeah, in Oldham. In a shopping centre in Oldham. And him saying, "Oh, go down there, Frank." And I say, "Hold on, you're standing on my pantaloons." So anyway, she got so angry about the fact that I was doing Would You Wear That with Got Quan.
You think it's a real programme now? You're talking about...
I was frightened to tell her it was a joke.
No.
So I left her. We left.
Did you ring Channel 4 and say you're going to have to commission it?
Well, she actually mentioned to someone at Channel 4 that I was doing it, and they said, really, I hadn't heard about that.
Oh.
She phoned her mother and said, apparently she said, I think I might have to split up with Frank. He's going to absolutely humiliate us. I mean,
I think I've heard about it. I think there's a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
There's a lot of buzz about that.
So I couldn't tell her, because we left home together, we walked into work together, and she suddenly said, I think I've left the iron on, and went in the opposite direction.
Oh.
And so I didn't get a chance to explain. So
because Would You Wear That?
I know, yeah. So that was my attempt at an April Fool.
40 episodes, Frank. What were you thinking?
She's very strict. See, when I got back from Blackpool, I had a ukulele badge on. They gave me a badge.
Right.
It was a ukulele leaning on a lamppost, thus expressing.
Oh, that's attractive. Yeah.
And she said to me, badges, we're going to have to talk about that as soon as I got in. So you see, I'm living under a reign of terror.
Badgers, no badges.
Yeah, I think she said. Oh yeah, there were two badgers in the living room, both in stockings and suspenders. That explains what she says.
It was like Wind in the Willows nights. It was a sexy Wind in the Willows.
Exactly. Wind in the Willows uncovered.
This is the best of the Frank Skinner Show. All the choicest cuts for your delectation.
Absolute Radio.
Mark Owen. I don't get the Mark Owen thing. Tiger Woods.
Filthy devil.
No, but Tiger Woods was torn to pieces. Well, nearly, if he hadn't got in the car and tried to escape. And then John Terry, he got absolutely... I think the phrase is dragged over the coals. Do you see? They lay down in the dressing room, both Ashley and Cheryl, and JT was dragged across them.
Over them.
I'd like to
And there was Ashley as well. And now it's Mark Owen.
But people are quite nice about Mark Owen.
I know.
Yeah, well, it's sort of expected from pop stars, isn't it? They're supposed to do that sort of thing.
I don't think it's that. It's because he's like a little woodland creature.
He's Sylvanian.
He
is. Yeah, I agree with that.
But there have been 10 of them, Frank. 10.
10 Mark Owens? Well,
No.
I think that's... they film in the Smurfs.
He's cheated. He's had 10 women behind her back.
Who keeps count?
Well, he didn't. He said, I think it's about 10.
Oh, OK.
But apparently, the good news is...
I must admit, if I was him, I think every time I committed the act, I wouldn't be able to resist going, take that. Frank! You've got the band name. OK.
I'm going to pretend you didn't say
Thank God
that.
he isn't in Deep Purple.
Oh, Frank!
Sorry, carry on.
Listen, do you know what I love most about this whole thing? Other than this, someone else's personal life isn't going very well. It's the fact that one of the women that he had an affair with, guess who she signed up with now? She needs a bit of representation.
So she needs a sort of publicity guru.
She needs a publicity guru. Who would you go to?
Well, my guess is...
Bang, bang, Maxwell Silver.
It's Maxwell Clifford. I'm glad. It's a recurring theme on this show.
I love
every
Maxwell
week.
Clifford.
He swoops down on those in trouble like this terrible old white-haired buzzard.
In his leather jacket, Frank.
Well, you say leather, I say suede, some say knitted. I mean, that's what I like, something for everybody with Maxwell.
It's got a quilted motif, though.
Yeah, so I'll tell you one thing about Mark Owen, one plus he'll have, is at least he'll be able to go on Piers Morgan's show and cry.
Oh, yeah.
That's
got to happen soon, hasn't it? He's got to be next.
Yeah, I was asked to go on, you know, and I just couldn't. I couldn't. There's nothing that I'm not upset about.
That you're going to cry?
No.
Why does everyone cry on it?
It's become very fashionable now, crying, generally.
Oh, it's so hot right now, crying.
Yeah, it is. You'll see at the end of the football season, you can see, you get fans, whoever gets relegated, they cry. And you can see them looking at the corner of their eye for the cameraman before they start sitting with their head in their hands. And the players do it as well. You know, I do care about the club. Look at me pretending to cry. I hate it.
Ronnie Corbett's the only one who didn't cry, wasn't it? He was quite happy.
I think he did cry, but he was just below the line of the camera.
I couldn't see. Oh, my wife is so much bigger than me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
She hurts me.
Yeah, he didn't cry. I bet they obviously got him on, didn't they? Because they thought, we'll talk about Ronnie Barker, he'll cry. That's safe. And he
was Ronnie Barker's dead.
Yeah, and that was it. And he said, yeah, very sad. And they moved on. And that's quite right, because he's an old pro. He wasn't going to play the game, but he won't be asked back. You either cry or you're out. God, when I said I had nothing I was that upset about, they offered to have one of the runners from the production company peeling onions at the side of my chair, just off camera.
They'll arrange for something very bad to happen in your personal life.
I know, well... If anything happens, obviously they'll be on the phone the next morning.
Oh, yeah.
I might phone them while I'm still in the ambulance.
We only have this extra. This is Frank Skinner.
Absolute
Radio.
Toyah Wilcox is in the studio, and here she is. Good morning, Toyah.
Good morning, Frank.
Thank you so much for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
But you've been here before.
Yeah, about 25 years ago. It could actually be 30 years ago. This used to be Granada TV, and I rehearsed in here with Lord Olivier and Greta Sacchi and Roger Rees for a film called The Ebony Tower.
How marvellous.
And
Lord Olivier.
Oh, it was fantastic. And rather than rehearse in a rehearsal room, we rehearsed in the executive offices of Granada so that staff could bring food in. And Lord Olivier did have a nurse at the time who looked after him, but it meant that we were treated like royalty.
Yeah, that sounds brilliant. How old would you have been then? Was that towards the end?
It was towards the end, yeah. I was about 25, 26 when I made that film.
I'm thinking of getting a nurse. Just maybe just for the shows.
Do you know, I recommend it. It's fantastic.
I think it's sort of fallen off the bandwagon of what rich people do. People get, PAs and all that. But the nurse.
It's not just about being rich. When you live for a long time, there's certain things you get really bored of, like blowing your own nose, doing your own shopping, cleaning your own fingernails. A nurse can do all that.
Is this Lord Olivier talking now, or is this your own personal experience?
This is my personal experience as a middle-aged woman.
I've got to tell you, Toyah, many years ago, I was in Birmingham city centre. This would be, long before I did comedy or anything like that. And this coach went past, and it must have been a tour bus, and you were on it. And you were just walking up, you walked up the aisle, and you got your bright orange hair and that in those days. And there was loads of people. This was going, I think, Corporation Street or somewhere by that. And everyone stopped. All the passers-by all stopped, and there was Toyah Wilcox's
You know what it
bus.
was? We were going to the Odeon to do a concert. Because they used to reverse the tour bus down the side of the Odeon on New Street.
Oh, OK.
And I can remember, because there was...
Do you remember me? Do you remember me seeing...
Well, I seem to remember there was a problem that day with about 500 screaming kids outside the Odeon that blocked the street.
They were with me.
Were they with you? Were you kind of in the middle of it?
I was working for Bernardo's at the time. It was an outing.
Oh, OK.
But really, it was like, look, when you see the kids looking through the window of the toy shop and thinking, it was its show business was going past all us normal people. It was very exciting.
Oh, I loved all that. I
bet you did.
I can remember once, I'm afraid I was one of the organisers of the royalty celebrity It's a Knockout. And all of us were on a coach going to Alton Towers.
That's very brave admission.
There was me, Tom Jones, Sheena Easton, Cliff Richards, Christopher Reeves, John Travolta, and we were on a coach going through
that had crashed, I know.
Well, wait, it gets worse. Going through the country lanes, going to Alton Towers, and Princess Fergie was at the front of the bus doing the royal wave with her hand, shouting down the bus, "Wave to the subjects, everyone."
She didn't say that.
Yeah, she did. And Sheena Easton was singing, "We're all going on a summer holiday. Come on, Cliff, join in." And it was one of the maddest things I've ever been through, because we stopped every village that we went through with just licking the windows to get a look at Tom Jones or Jane Seymour or John Travolta.
Yeah.
So it was another one of those moments.
Great. It was like Celebrity Express. That's a fabulous collection I got. See what Cliff should have gone, "My baby gets the morning train." He should have fought fire with fire. That's the trouble with Cliff.
You're listening to the best of the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Weekend mornings on Absolute Radio with Trebor Soft Mints. Working towards a mintier world.
Absolute Radio.